Your list, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hold on, let me turn on all the mics. Okay. Okay, it's 9:30 and the audio's on.
Amy, you wanna? They're gonna
Yes.
do the pledge, right?
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. We're going to do things a little bit different this morning. We have the Chardon High School student government with us. I know it's been a while since we've had the last student government cadre with us. So would you please come up and lead us in the pledge? And then I'll introduce them after we're done. So come on up to the front here.
Should we just swing around the desk?
Sure, absolutely. All right, and the flag's behind us. And after you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so, oh yeah, that's a great photo. Yeah, we'll pause there, all right? You want to get the commissioners in there too?
Yeah, right.
Okay, come on over this way.
Squeeze it in.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you guys want to come over here, I've got the mic. You can take turns on the mic. Let me just turn it on really quick. Okay. Okay, so yeah, come on. You guys can come out by the front. You can sit down or stand behind me, whatever you feel comfortable with. You go on the other side. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
There we go. I know, we don't do this every day. So yeah, if you could just say your name, the role that you hold in student government, and maybe tell us a little bit about like how you got interested in student government, and then any plans after you graduate.
Okay, I'm Aubrey Fetchick. I'm a class officer, senior class officer, and my family's always been really involved in Chardon School, so I kind of wanted to like follow in the path and like really make an impact. And I've loved doing it and being a part of like school spirit, and it's just been really fun. And after high school, I plan to attend Washington Jefferson College, majoring in medicinal chemistry and playing volleyball. Thank you.
Any post-graduation plans?
I want to go to pharmacy school, so that's the plan, but we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hayden Bunker. I am also a senior class officer at Chardon High School. I've always been super involved. A lot of people know me to be too busy than I have time for. So I think that's a big part of why I really care about service, especially publicly. After high school, I hope to go to the United States Military Academy at West Point to major in international affairs. Later, one day, maybe, I hope to become a diplomat or something in higher government. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Morgan Kilpeck, and I am also a senior class officer. And I wanted to do it because I I have a passion for organizing events, and I wanted to unite our senior class as one. And then after graduation, I'm going to attend the Ohio State University, and I'm currently undecided but looking to go pediatric medicine. Thank you.
I'm Emily Eads. I'm also a senior class officer, and I've just recently kind of been getting into more leadership roles. This past summer, I went to Buckeye Girls State, and I ended up in a state position, and I really enjoyed just making some rules and having more leadership positions, so I ran for a class officer. And then I'm going to Ohio State University in the fall, and I'm majoring in biology on the pre-dental track. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Henry Sweet. I'm the student council vice president. What got me interested in student council or being a leader was probably my mom. She encouraged me from middle school to be involved, to help people out, and also my older brothers and sisters did it, and I saw the fun that they had and the people they helped. And for next year, planning on going to Ohio State for a degree in mechanical engineering. Yeah.
Yay, that's what I studied.
Hi everybody.
Oh, he was Hazar.
That's an engineer behind you too, so he's
Oh,
doing I had
Red nod of approval, yeah.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Walter Sweet. I'm also a senior at Chardon High School. What first got me involved in student council and like leadership positions was similar to Henry, my siblings and my mom. They always pushed me for it. And for college next year, I'm planning on going to The Ohio State University to study biomedical engineering on the pre-dental route. Yeah.
My name is TJ Dare. I'm also a senior at Chardon, and I serve as the Executive Student Council President. One thing that really got me interested in public service, thanks to my dad's role in the U.S. Army, I've moved around a lot. And I've got to experience a lot of different cultures, lived in a lot of different places, and I've seen a lot of different ways that we can help people just by doing really simple acts of kindness or selfless service. And so being in student government has helped me continue to do that on a greater level for everybody in the high school, and it's something that I enjoy doing a lot. After high school, I also plan on attending the United States Military Academy at West Point. My goal is to become an aviator in the Army and maybe one day run for president. It's always been a dream of mine. So.
All right.
Superintendent, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, and thank you, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to have our student leaders here. It occurs to me as I'm sitting there listening to each of the students address you this morning that, public education has been under some scrutiny in recent years. And I think what you can see as evidence here today is the outstanding work of public schools and also the great aspirations that our students have. And I have no doubt that these students will make some significant contributions as they move forward into post-secondary, secondary education and college and so on, and really just be positive contributors to our community. So thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks. After hearing all the young people, the future looks very bright. So thanks for coming in.
Words of wisdom for the high schoolers, Commissioner Dvorak?
Work hard with your passion, whatever it is. Okay. And now the prayer of the day. Heavenly Father, with all this snow and cold weather in Geauga County, Holy One, warm our hearts with acts of kindness, inspire us with the beauty of your creation, and watch over those who work to keep us safe and well. Amen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. Moving on to item number 2, I'd like to do a brief introduction. Judge, if you'd like to come up.
Sure.
We have Judge Berger. He's the Geauga County Probate and Juvenile Court judge. Yeah, please turn that off. So just a brief introduction this morning.
Sure. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. Normally, a visiting judge sits by assignment of the Ohio Supreme Court in various different courts. I've served maybe 14 different counties now. But normally we just come in, hear the cases, whether they're conflicts cases or unusual cases, or a judge has gone on vacation or illness or what have you, and hear those cases. We're in, we're out, we write our opinions. In this appointment, I've been appointed here in Geauga County for 6 months. I'm a retired judge from Portage County Juvenile Probate Court. I know the Commissioner Spinelli, and I was served at the time that you all had a joint detention facility with Portage County. At any rate, unlike normally where I come in and hear the cases and resolve the cases, I have administrative duties too, which we normally don't have. So I thought it would be important for you to see a face and know who's wrecking your juvenile probate court while I'm here. I'll be here to the end of May. So at any rate, if you have any questions of me, I have some cards. They have my cell number on it and my personal email on. I'm a dinosaur. I do write on paper. And if you want to contact me by email, text me first so I know to look in the junk mail to see if you're stuck there. So if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm really pleased. I got to say this. I'm really pleased with your staff at the probate juvenile court. They're excellent. They've made me feel very comfortable. I've been there for almost 2 months now. It's taken me a while to know who's who and what person to give what assignment to. And they're extremely efficient, they're extremely kind, and they handle the public well. I don't know whether you're familiar with them or not, but you have a very, very good staff. And that would include the probation staff and the clerks, and of course, the two magistrates are very good too. So if you feel like giving them a raise sometime, go ahead.
Well, speaking of that, thanks for coming in today, Judge Berger. As you may or may not be aware, historically, the Juvenile and Probate Court has not come before the commissioners to discuss its budget, and instead has either journalized that budget or at least threatened to journalize that budget. And since you're here today, I just thought I'd ask whether you'd be willing to take a different approach this year and appear before the commissioners for tax budget hearings to discuss your budget and to have some transparency regarding how the money is spent in that office.
I think I can't answer that, to tell you the truth. I've been here just for 2 months. I've been trying to get the docket down. We've had a number of cases, I call them 5-inch files, where they're that thick. We're trying to get rid of them. We've already got rid of 7 of those cases in 2 months, which is incredible. And I'm concentrating on that. I'm concentrating on the youth and adolescents. Don't know anything about the budget in Geauga County. I could tell you everything about the budget in Portage County.
Because they do not come before us and discuss it. So
Yeah.
I would like to have a little more transparency for that, and I'm sure your staff could help you.
Why don't you do this? I'm going to
Yep.
give you my card. Give me a call. I'll put you in touch with the person that knows or could answer your question.
Yep.
How's that?
That's half good.
Well, that's the best I can do. Because like I said, I'm just I'll just be here till May, and I consider my job as being a good steward, to keep everything copacetic, to keep the docket clean, to help on emergency. You'll be surprised how many emergencies things happen in these 2 courts. And, just to keep things running and keep things as smooth as possible, until the judge returns. So, but anything else, let me know. I don't know the real monetary needs of the court right now, to tell you the truth. So, but I
The
can
budget
put-
hearings are in May, so you'll be here the whole month of May, so we can communicate.
Well, let me tell you my prejudice. I got tired of arguing with our commissioner, so I ordered my budget itself. But I tried not to gouge. I tried to be a good steward, and I tried to just get the things that I needed, because I was peculiarly aware of what I needed and what the court needed, as opposed to you. How many departments do you have? A lot. And you can't possibly know every little item from every department and what the needs are, and whether somebody's abusing that or whether they're not, or whether they have certain needs. So
Yeah, and the budget hearings are not about questioning the court's independence. You could always go on and journalize your budget afterwards, but I do think it's important for public transparency to understand how those tax dollars are being spent.
I will, if you call me, I will get it to the right person. I'll give you an answer.
Okay, very good.
Okay? It's not my answer. It'll be an answer from the person doing
Well, you're
the
running
math.
at things now, sir. It is your answer.
Well, my primary purpose is to handle the juvenile court. And I'm particularly passionate about that, because I think the youth is the key to the entire thing. And I think gearing the adults in the juvenile court, you have private cases from between unmarried persons. You have custody and support from that. You have your JFS cases, or the cases involving neglect, abuse, and dependency, which are sometimes particularly dark. And you have your normal delinquency, which people think of juvenile court, where a child is delinquent for committing an act that would be a crime if committed by an adult. And the whole idea of juvenile court is to get the adolescents back on the road by giving them the opportunity to have rehabilitation. All you can do is give them opportunity. And that's where my efforts are geared. Similarly, in probate court, we have guardianships, we have estates, and in the guardianships, you're taking care of some person that likely can't take care of themselves. That somebody needs to help them. We need to watchdog that. In other words, make sure that their estate or their monies are not misspent, and also make sure that they're provided with everything in their best interest. And in the estates, sometimes it's really difficult because they say funerals and weddings destroy a family. And that can be true because people will think that they deserve more than the other person, or they should be entitled to say this. And that's not the way it is. It's supposed to be fair according to what the last wishes of the person was. So that's my primary purpose. And that's the only reason why I became a visiting judge, to tell you the truth, so I could stay in the courtroom. I didn't like the administrative duties, but who does? But I will get you that information, whatever information you need, to the best of my ability. All right?
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, nice to
Good
see
seeing
you
you again. Yep, for sure.
Here's some cards. I'll leave it here.
All right, thank
Here's
you.
mine if you want it.
We'll take a card.
We'll exchange.
Good seeing you, Judge Berger.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Sure. And come down anytime if you have any questions about how the court runs.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, which is public comment. So just a reminder that this first public comment period is for items directly on the agenda. I saw we had approximately 2 or 3 folks sign up to speak on the topic of NOACA. Do we have anyone that would like to come forward? Yes, ma'am. I ask you to please come to the microphone, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Diane Winans, Newberry, Ohio. NOACA is a committee that believed, using our tax money, that they can take CO2 from the atmosphere and drive it into the ground to resolve climate change. This is, just to paraphrase, I'm no botanist, but I'm a gardener, and I know that this is stupid on steroids. Now, I've since learned that they've changed their policy. They no longer want to do that. That's not the point. They had this belief, they had this policy. We cannot tolerate that in Geauga County. I wish to get out of NOACA. People who support NOACA must believe in these policies. Also, in my opinion, that's stupid on steroids. Secondly, I forgot what I was going to say. What's happening in Geauga County or in this room is not much different than what's happening in the United States and around the world. What do I mean by that? When people in the administration believe that they cannot win in the arena of ideas and fact and logic, what happens? In Colorado, they try and keep somebody off the ballot. In New York, they'll tie up somebody in court to use their resources. Getting more sinister, they might delay elections, eliminate elections, or jail their opponents. Look at Brazil, look at France, look at Great Britain. They might deny the election results entirely, like Venezuela. So you bring it back to Geauga County. What happens? 2 votes nullify thousands of votes for Ralph. He needs to be reinstated. These are the taxpayers speaking. Secondly, it'll come up. Just a minute. It'll come up. What's next? What's next? You change the rules. You vote on this NOACA Article 9. You change the rules to eliminate a thorn in your side. That's not right. That's just not right. What's next?
Thank you. Next, anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine Stenzel from Munson. I'd like to congratulate the Hilltoppers. I graduated in '72. They have their act together. It's something to be really proud of. And I think their futures look very bright. I wanted to talk to you. What I'm most concerned about when I received the email of today's agenda, when I saw items 18 through 20, that address the NOACA situation and the NOACA vote from the last few meetings. It says to me that we've ignored 4 things. And I think most people here know what I'm talking about. Number 1 is Skip Claypool. Number 2 is Ralph Spitaleri. Number 3 is the unanimous letter from the Board of Commissioners who have asked us not to stay in NOACA. And number 4 is us, the citizens that have come and spoken. I wanted to know what has been your response to Skip's proposal to connect with Lake County for an MPO and pull away from NOACA. Skip's not here today, or I'm sure he would speak, but he's got all the facts and figures, and as Ralph stated in the past, he's got more information and he's studied NOACA more than everybody put together here and probably in this room, but for sure of the 3 of the commissioners here today. So I'm just wondering, what is the response to the Lake County proposal, and are we going to get to items 18 through 20 and just vote as if none of this, all the above has happened? One final thing I'd like to say is I notice when I'm sitting here, I noticed especially when Ralph was speaking, and he gave a really heartfelt, maybe 10-minute dissertation on what's happening right now with NOACA, and I felt that the body language was from the commissioners was just evasive to Ralph, and it wasn't engaging that he's a fellow commissioner, and I feel you should all be working together, but I felt that people were too busy doing other things to be paying attention to what Ralph was saying. So I'm just hoping we can go forward. I don't see why this has to be confrontational, and I don't know why there's a rush to get the vote through today. I hope you'll take more time to address it instead of passing it today. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning to you on this snowy morning. I also would like to welcome the students from Chardon High School. Thank you for your wonderful ability to articulate why you wanted to serve and what your plans were for the future. That was really great for us to hear. My name is Carol Roberts. I've lived in Munson Township for 15 years. I've spent a lot of time this week collecting my thoughts on what I wanted to say this morning. I'm asking you to vote no on resolution number 26-022. Do not ratify the amendment to Article 9 of the Code of Regulations of NOACA. This is now the 3rd week in a row that citizens have come to this very microphone to express their concerns about this issue, the revision of Article 9 of the NOACA bylaws. Many, many people have asked you not to make this change, yet I have not heard anyone, not one person, to stand up in support of it. Why is that? Commissioner Brakey, you asked one of the speakers last week if she had read the proposed change, saying you did not understand her opposition to it. This restricts who can be sent to represent Geauga County on NOACA. How does being a county employee or elected official magically make you more qualified to represent our county? If you leave to take another job or leave office, are you suddenly less qualified? It makes no sense to permanently restrict our options on who can represent the citizens of Geauga County on the NOACA board. We have almost 100,000 people who live in Geauga County, and why would we want to restrict who we choose to send to the board to just a few people? It makes no sense to me. And I request that you restore Commissioner Spitaleri to NOACA representation. Commissioner Brakey and Commissioner Dvorak, if you wish to change your own representative, that's fine, but do not take away Commissioner Spitaleri's spot. Reappoint him to the NOACA board. Commissioner Brakey, you have told us yourself that you do not like going to the meetings. If you want to appoint the county engineer to your own spot, that's fine. But why would 2 commissioners team up against the 3rd commissioner to permanently reassign his seat on the board to someone else against his will? This is wrong. Defend the sovereignty of Geauga County. Do not give it away. The Planning Commission unanimously asked you to leave NOACA. I agree. Honor the Planning Commission's request. In addition, I want to tell you that I know 5 people who were unable to be here today. They have reached out to me and asked me to speak for them today. So I represent their voices also. Many are praying that you do the right thing today. I call on you to listen to the voters of Geauga County. You were elected to represent us, we the people. Thanks very much for this time. I appreciate it.
Is there anyone else? Okay. That concludes item number 3 on the agenda.
Somebody's coming.
Oh, okay, come on up.
Hello, my name is Renee Chesnes. I'm from Hamden Township, and I didn't want to speak today, but if you look closer at Nowaka, it's more than just roads and bridges. It affects how we live, how we drive, what we can drive, all in the name of equity. And I put together a little bit of information, did some research. After coming to these meetings, I realized there's a few people who are being personally attacked, and I don't understand why. But as I look closer, this isn't reform. We're not getting a stronger voice to this Article 9, Section 4.2, if I have that correctly. It locks out our independent voices to centralized control and unelected bureaucrats coming from NOACA. And why are we rushing these changes? And if we look closer at Commissioner Brakey, she founded her energy firm, Brakey Law, in 2020, the height of COVID, specializing in Ohio's deregulated energy market, class actions on billing and energy contracts. Just 3 years later, she announced her run for commissioner, took office in 2024, and I voted for her. I thought she would be good for the family. Now she's voting on NOACA matters that shape regional planning, transportation, and infrastructure, areas increasingly tied to sustainability, mandates that impact energy use and cost. Says it right on the website. And her husband, Matt Brakey, owns and runs Brakey Energy. It's their family business that she served as an attorney for. For over 25 years, they've helped large industrial and commercial clients navigate complex energy regulations, negotiate contracts, and done a lot of good, slash costs in Ohio's utility market. Bureaucracies like NOACA pushing regional coordination on infrastructure and environmental rules create exactly the kind of layered regulations that energy management firms thrive on. More mandates mean more opportunities to help clients comply at a profit. Isn't it convenient? Our commissioner with deep ties votes to strengthen NOACA. An insider club only. We see that happening, potentially expanding the very bureaucracies that her family businesses may potentially profit from. And we're excluding everyday citizens like myself and other alternatives that aren't elected. And I think that the engineer is probably a very smart man. But when was the last time we had 2 engineers run or had debate? Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda. On January 27th, 2026, I approved for the Department on Aging the hiring of Magale Rios to the position of full-time assistant senior center manager number 1037 to be effective February 9th, 2026 at the rate of $30 per hour, which is a grade 12 step 4 with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. Also on January 27th, 2026, I approved for maintenance and unpaid medical leave of absence for Matthew Bakulik, custodian number 1906, for up to 216 hours during the period of January 15th, 2026 through February 20th, 2026 for time not covered by accrued sick and vacation leave. On January 30th, 2026, I approve for maintenance the hiring of Wayne Blankenship to the position of maintenance worker, number 1904, at the rate of $20.46 per hour, which is a grade 6, step 5, to be effective February 9th, 2026, with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. Also on January 30th, 2026, I approve for the Department of Water Resources the hiring of Sean Allen to the position of wastewater operator 1, number 2326, at the rate of $27.76 per hour, to be effective February 23rd, 2026, with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. On February 2nd, 2026, I accepted for the dog warden the resignation of Lacey Portman, part-time shelter attendant, number 1607, to be effective February 15th, 2026. Also for the dog warden, I granted permission to advertise for the position of part-time shelter assistant, number 1607. The position will remain posted until filled. Also on February 2nd, 2026, I approved for maintenance the hiring of Dennis Clark to the position of electrician, number 1925, at the rate of $25.48 per hour, which is a grade 11, step 1, to be effective February 9th, 2026, with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. I also approved and executed for maintenance a notice of commencement of a public improvement pursuant to RC 1311.252 for Air Force One to provide and install 3 new split cooling systems at the Geauga County Sheriff's Office. I also approved and executed a notice of commencement of a public improvement pursuant to RC 1311.252 for Air Force One to remove and install a new hot water boiler in the Geauga County Safety Center. And finally, for maintenance, I approved and executed a notice of commencement of a public improvement pursuant to RC 1311.252 for Train US Incorporated to provide and install a new building automation system known as a BAS at the Geauga County Safety Center. And that is all.
You mean that's all? That's a lot. That's a busy week.
It is.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Item number 5, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of October 28th, 2025.
I move to approve.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote. Okay.
Aye.
Yes. Financials.
I thought you were doing them one at a time there. Sorry. I was waiting for the next one. Adrian Gorton from the Commissioner's Office.
Must have.
Today's financials include a supplemental in the Commissioner's Reserve Fund for Phase 1 starter appropriations for 2026 to cover change orders, new equipment, and other purchases. There's a cash transfer from the General Fund to the Engineer's Office for office expenses and for the Stormwater Management Fund per MOU dated 4/30/2013. There's a formal contract PO from Community Development to 7145 Pine LLC to reestablish the encumbrance in the Brownfield Remediation Grant Fund for the cleaning up of the old Nalco property. Among the vouchers are $950,817.12 from the Commissioner's Office to Infinity Construction Company for pay request number 28 of the courthouse expansion project. There's also $33,571 from the Common Pleas Court to reimburse for changes to the magistrate doors in the new courthouse. $66,096 from the Sheriff to Expert IT LLC for the licenses for the Microsoft Office 365 for their 150 users. And finally, $50,922 from the Sheriff to Upstate Wholesale Supply Incorporated for 6 in-car video camera installations.
I appreciate you following up about that magistrate.
Yes.
I'll move to approve the financials.
Second. Any discussion? Call for a vote. Okay.
Aye.
Yes.
And the next item here is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board grant permission to, wait a minute. The Commissioner's Office, I skipped one, sorry. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the request for partial payment number 29 for Infinity Construction Company Incorporated for the Geauga County Courthouse Expansion Project, GMP Phase Number 1 and 2 expenses in the amount of $337,740.51. And these have been approved by all the stakeholders.
MP5, et cetera.
Yes.
All right, I'll move to approve number 7.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
The next item here is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board grant permission to advertise to accept competitive sealed proposals for the preparation of a Geauga County cost allocation plan to be held on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Notice of this competitive sealed proposal will be advertised on February 5th, 2026 and February 12th, 2026 and on the county website.
And this is for what we use now as Maximus, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll move to approve number 8.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adrian.
Morning, Commissioners. Shane Hajar with the Engineers Office. First, I'd like to say I'm a proud father of 2 Chardon graduates, 2019 and 2023. I think it's an excellent program that they run there, and I've known Henry and Walter Sweet since they were little guys, and I don't know the other kids, but listening to them talk about their aspirations was very uplifting this morning. You know, West Point and the Ohio State University, OH. And
IO. Sorry.
thank you. Just great to be part of this community and hear these kids come up here and talk about it. It's a good thing. So, not as exciting or as fun, but I'm here to present item number 9. The engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute unit price contract for Geauga Highway Company for the asphalt resurfacing of Gingrich Road, County Highway 34, Section A in Burton Township in the amount of $240,465.71.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Shane.
Thank you.
The next item is from the sheriff's office, but they're not here today. We've been going back and forth on this. This is a resolution to request to establish a new fund called the Jail Opioid Remediation Grant Fund that will be used to account for the expenditure of funds for a new jail treatment coordinator.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Any more discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Correct.
Good morning, Jessica Bolt, Director, Geauga County Department on Aging. The first item I have on the agenda is the contract with Schraft Thomas Law LLC for the legal services for older adults program to counsel, advise, and represent clients for elder care law services. It's for a 5-year period. We did go to bid for this program previously. It's for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st of 2030 for 798 hours per year, not to exceed the total amount of $428,007.30.
And was this a contract approved by the prosecutor's
Yes,
office?
ma'am.
I didn't see the stamp on it. Okay. I'll move to approve number 11.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
And secondly, we'd like to request the board release the bid bond submitted by Schraft Thomas Law LLC for the legal services for older adults, as it is no longer required to be held for this project.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
The next item on the contract is regarding getting an a Phase 1 environmental site assessment and environmental cleanup liens and activity and land use limitations record search for 12701 Ravenwood Drive to continue to move forward with the
purchase and sales agreement on the property. What we would like to do is I've just received a quote for services from HCW. They have some standards provisions within that quote that the prosecutor's office is currently revising, and we still need to complete the standard stock contract with the county. So I would like to request that the board approve and authorize Amy S. Bevan, County Administrator, to execute the contract agreement with HCW Environmental Consultants LLC to conduct the services I just previously mentioned for permanent parcel number 137050027 at 12701 Ravenwood Drive in an amount not to exceed $2,875. That is $2,600 for the actual Phase 1 environmental site assessment and $275 for the environmental cleanup liens activity.
And I did discuss this issue with the prosecutor's office. They recommend a Phase 1 environmental site assessment for any property that has an above-ground storage tank, which this one does.
Yes.
And they said, it's kind of a relatively modest cost to ensure we're making a good investment with taxpayer money, which I agree with. So I'll make a motion for item number 13.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Thank you. The last item I have on the agenda is requesting the board waive the 200-hour maximum vacation accrual for Jean Molson, Recreation and Education Assistant, for a period of 2 months, effective January 19th, which was payroll number 2603 through March 28th. 2026. Her public service started well before she joined us. It started in 1/19/2001. We did not become full staffed at the West Geauga Senior Center until August, so she really did not have the opportunity to take some vacation time, and she just received an anniversary of quite some time in her vacation accrual.
I'll move to approve 14.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jessica.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Nick Goris, Water Resources. Just an administration item on the agenda. Requesting the board approve and execute the certification request to the county auditor. Request of the Board of Commissioners quarterly use of county credit cards for the Geauga Credit Union Visa for quarters 1, 2, 3, and 4 for 2026. We originally did this for quarter 1 only as we were moving money around and get it all certified, so appropriated. This just locks it in for the rest of the year that we're able to use it.
I move to approve number 15.
Second. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 16, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute change order number 1, increasing the contract with Cash Moving Corporation for additional items to be moved for courthouse employees in the amount of $1,850 and extending the date of completion through February 25th, 2026 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $27,330. So essentially, there are some items that remained at $470, mainly for the Chief Probation Officer and the Drug Court, that were not previously captured, which include boxes and just the labor required to move those items from 470 to the new courthouse.
Okay.
And e-bikes,
And
apparently.
e-bikes, 6
Yeah,
e-bikes, yes, that
I
belong
thought
to the
that
drug
was a
court.
misprint, but I guess the drug court has e-bikes that they loan out for
They do.
folks that they got a grant for, and they're for, folks that aren't able to drive. But I was like, are they trying to stump me on this one?
Yes, I questioned that one as well.
So I'll move to approve number
Second.
16.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She changed it, remember?
All right, this next item is the Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 26-020 honoring Burton Middlefield Rotary on the their occasion of its 75th anniversary. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have anyone here from the Rotary, other than you, Commissioner DeWara? With you. Well, I enjoyed reading about all the projects that the Middlefield Rotary, Burton Middlefield Rotary have supported over the years. That was, interesting. Some of the things, your fellow urban areas have supported.
Right. I just, when we get done, we'll have Chrissy read this, and then I'll elaborate a little bit. But I joined Burton Middlefield Rotary Club in '07, and they did pancakes at the old Berkshire School from 1951 for about almost 59 years. And they raised anywhere between $25,000 and $35,000 to disperse within the community, helping 501c3s and things like that. Some of the things that currently the big event is the Maple Splash, where Preston Chevrolet donates a pickup truck or a car, and then we raffle it off. So, and Chrissy can read the proclamation resolution. But one of the things was that during COVID, even during COVID, a lot of Rotary did some creative things because you had to stay 6 feet away from everybody. So our club, they owned, well, there's like 3 or 4 of us that owned Jeeps, Jeep Wranglers. So I put together a Jeep invasion at the drive-in theater. It was an outside event. We stayed 6 to 8 foot away from each other. And we raised anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 for the veterans. But one year, there was a need for Amish Dare program. So we did that, and other corporations and companies donated money, and we got up to $22,000 for the Amish Dare program. And they said that would last 5 or 6 years for instructional books and gifts and things like that to motivate the kids for addiction and things like that. So, and then another thing that I do is the special needs fishing. I've done that created it and done it for about 11 years through the Park District. We take about 40, 50 kids, work with hand in hand with the ESC, and it's a one-day event, and the buses bring the kids in. I get golf carts from Pleasant Hills Golf Course to get them out on the docks, and then we top it all off with Santa's Hideaway. Santa comes out and talks to the kids and gives like $5 gift cards for Dairy Queen. So it's just ongoing, and I'm just happy and proud to be part of Burton Middlefield Rotary. Go ahead.
It's a resolution honoring the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield on the occasion of its 75th anniversary. Whereas on February 23, 1905, Paul Harris, a Chicago attorney, formed the Rotary Club of Chicago with a vision that a diverse group of professionals could meet and exchange ideas. The number of clubs quickly grew across the country. In 1912, the name was changed to Rotary International to reflect its international presence, and by July 1925, there were more than 2,000 clubs across 6 continents, united by a dedication to community service best expressed in the motto, Service Above Self. Whereas April 23, 1951, the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield was established and began its mission to provide services to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. Whereas through fundraising efforts such as the Maple Splash Raffle and the Jeep Invasion, the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield supports numerous local community projects and programs, including public bicycle racks in Middlefield, AED units, lock boxes for seniors, the Geauga County Sheriff's K-9 Unit, the Geauga Park District Binocular Program, Geauga Faith Rescue Mission, the Amish Dare Program, the Special Needs Fishing Derby, and volunteer support for local pancake breakfast, fish fry events, and partnerships with local chambers of commerce. Whereas the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield extends its service beyond Geauga County through domestic and international humanitarian efforts, including Disaster Aid USA and the Gift of Life Haiti Project, as well as initiatives supporting communities in Haiti, Argentina, Ghana, and India, helping to improve lives and strengthen communities around the world. Now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize and honor the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield on its 75th anniversary and commend the club for its long-standing commitment and dedication to serving the residents in our community and throughout the world. Be it further resolved that this resolution becomes part of the permanent record of the Board of Commissioners of Geauga County, Ohio.
Okay, thank you.
And we will get that to them.
There's dinner tomorrow night, so. Item 18.
Yes, this is the resolution to designate the official representative and alternate for the purpose of voting at meetings of the County Commissioners Association of Ohio in 2026, including James W. Dvorak, official representative, and Carolyn Brakey as alternate. This was the same as last year. If you wish to make changes, we can adjust that and I can reprint.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'll move to approve 18.
Second. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Brakey?
Aye.
Commissioner Dvorak? And then this is for you to designate who your alternates are for Planning Commission before the next meeting next week. I'm not sure who.
Okay, my alternate will be Dave Fabic. He was last year's alternate for myself, and willing to stay.
Okay. And then I have Ms. Brakey as Dane Davis. And then Commissioner Spitaleri, who are you appointing?
I'll keep Walter Claypool.
Okay. And then number 20.
Okay, so we don't need to vote on that, right? Yeah. Very good.
I just needed to know who that was.
Okay. Item 20, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 26-022 to ratify an amendment to Article 9 of the Code of Regulations of the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency known as NOACA.
I can kick off the discussion on this a bit. So there's a famous quote that's often attributed to Mark Twain that says it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. And I believe the people who've come to these last few meetings, I think you're well-intentioned people. I think you love this country. I think you love this county. I agree with many of the things you say. I think Geauga should stay rural. I think that Geauga is a distinct county from the other counties in NOACA. I think that MPOs are kind of the worst of government bureaucracy, but I think you've been misled regarding the changes to NOACA's Code of Regulations and what they would do. So talking just specifically to what we'd be ratifying today, which is Article 9, as far as what it does and what it doesn't do. So it governs how NOACA's Code of Regulations can be amended. So the general rule is that the bylaws can only be amended by a majority vote of the Board of Directors. And then there's a specific exception in Section 4, which deals with membership and board composition. So under the existing structure, any change affecting county representation, it requires first a majority vote by the Board of Directors and then ratification by all member counties. So that requirement protects counties from being stripped of representation without consent, but it also prevents a county from modifying its own delegation on the board without unanimous approval from every other county. So the extent that, Lake County wants to take out their Lake Tran representative and put on their planning commission director, they wouldn't be able to do that unless every other county ratified that change. So they can essentially be blocked for making what they think is best for their county. So the amendment to Article 9, it preserves the protection regarding the number of seats each county holds. It can't take away Geauga County seats, but it also removes the requirement that all counties ratify changes to another county's delegation. It allows a county to modify its own delegation through a two-step process, which is first the majority vote of the NOACA Board of Directors and then the ratification by the affected county itself. So this would allow, we couldn't all gang up on Lake County and force them to remove their engineer. They'd have to ratify that amendment on their own. So I believe that amendment restores local control while still maintaining those regional safeguards. The amendment was overwhelmingly approved by the NOACA Board of Directors at the January 9th special meeting that Commissioner Dorvark and I attended. So the ratification is before us today. First off, NOACA's legal counsel doesn't believe county ratification of Article 9 is required. I agree with that. The plain reading of the Code of Regulations states that Board of Directors approval is sufficient. However, one component of Mr. Claypool's lawsuit against Commissioner Dvorak, NOACA, and myself asserts that individual counties must ratify amendments to Article 9. So, essentially just to eliminate that claim entirely, the NOACA Board of Directors unanimously adopted a resolution requesting ratification by each county. It's essentially a procedural safeguard. It's not a concession. And I believe it's a common sense step to avoid continued expenditure of taxpayer resources responding to a claim that absolutely lacks merit. So that's kind of my thought of this Article 9 amendment in a nutshell. But kind of taking one step back and looking at Geauga's position historically regarding adding the county engineers, Commissioner Dvorak has said at prior meetings, this is not anything new. So I started looking at some prior meeting minutes. One that stood out to me was January 7th, 2014. So here's a quote from that meeting. "It is unfair that our county engineer is not on the board," referring to the board of NOACA. "There is no other county that doesn't have their county engineer on the board. I think the bylaws from NOACA should be amended to always include the county engineer. This is the most important person relative to this county, to any county. Functionally, they are getting their tax dollars back for the roads and bridges. Every county should have a county engineer on there. We should amend the bylaws to say that." Commissioners, you want to guess who said that quote? That was Mr. Claypool. So that was from Mr. Claypool.
Yeah, 2014,
That was, yes,
12 years ago.
Yeah. Here's another quote for you. "It put our county engineer in a position where he could be on all these committees, but if he can't be on the executive, I think we're getting strangled." You want to guess who said that? That was Commissioner Spitarelli. There's also, where did I put it? So those were the meeting minutes from January 4th. There was a pretty extended discussion, and it's all actually on YouTube, on the prior YouTube channel, where you discussed amending the NOACA bylaws to add the county engineer. There's like 5 pages of minutes on it. And then at the end, there was a motion by Commissioner Rear, seconded by Commissioner Spitarelli, to approve the following amendment to Article 4, Section 4.2B of the NOACA Code of Regulations, and essentially just takes out that third county engineer replaces it, third county commissioner replaces it with the third, with the county engineer. And then there was a roll call vote. Commissioner Rear, aye. Commissioner Spitarelli, aye. Commissioner Samiti, no. And Commissioner Samiti explained she wanted the engineer to have a seat on the board. She agreed with it, but because of the action, it would result in her role as she would be removed that year, and so that she would not be able to be the NOACA president as she was slated to do. So she kind of fundamentally agreed with the decision, but didn't like the way that it was going to impact her, so she voted no. And then on December 27th, 2018, this is when Commissioner Claypool, Commissioner Lennon, Commissioner Spitarelli, those were the 3 commissioners. This would be Commissioner Claypool's actually very last meeting as a commissioner, his very last resolution that he passed, very last thing that happened. Unfortunately, there was no discussion written about that, and there's not a video of this one, but it's the last thing is Commissioner's Office resolution to request NOACA amend the Code of Regulations to reflect composition of Geauga County to represent 2 commissioners and the county engineer. So this was a motion made by Commissioner Claypool, seconded by Commissioner Spitarelli, to approve and execute Resolution 18-177 to request NOACA amend the Code of Regulations to reflect composition of Geauga County to represent 2 commissioners and the county engineer. Resolution follows. So that says, now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners respectfully request that NOAC amend its Code of Regulations 4.2 to reflect composition of the Geauga County representation to 2 county commissioners and the county engineer. Roll call vote. Commissioner Claypool, aye. Commissioner Lennon was absent. Commissioner Spitarelli, also aye. The motion passed. I'm not sure how either one of these, why it ended up not like getting over the finish line, but at least, you know, historically, this is something that the Board of Commissioners has advocated for, is to adding our engineer to the Board of Commissioners. And I think well, I mean, the things that Commissioner Spitarelli and Mr. Claypool said in that 2014 meeting, I think those are good arguments, and I think they still hold.
So basically, the last 12 years or so, Geauga County has always wanted 2 commissioners and the engineer representing, have 3 votes at NOACA.
Yep, exactly. So I'll move to pass item number 20.
So I'd like to discuss, I'd like to add to this.
Can I have a second for my motion?
Let me make a second, then we'll discuss. I second the motion. Discussion.
Thank you.
So as you could see, you know, they both can make comments, and then I basically get, you know, thrown under the bus again as far as being able to have a voice. I've got more years than Commissioner Brakey has had. I have more years than she has months as a commissioner here. I have watched this whole process with NOACA. We have fought time and time again to have 4 seats. We are the only county at NOACA that has only 3 commissioners represented and no engineer. Medina, Lorraine, Geauga. Well, Geauga is a whole different dynamics, but Lake County, they have actually 4 positions on the board. We always took a responsible position to have our county engineer represented. And it's kind of disheartening to try to hear how this is, the information of motions that have been made for years and years of retaining our county engineer on the board, all of a sudden turned around to be placed in a position that this is not about just having our county engineer. This is about the commissioners removing the ability of one of the elected officials to be able to have representation of their choosing to be there. And at the end of the day, we have a situation here where it's a real concern, because I asked the question last week of how NOAC even received, how they had been requested to pursue this months and months ago, that never got ratified by all the counties, so it didn't pass. But more than anything, not one, but both of our commissioners approached NOACA. I never had any conversation. We never discussed that publicly. There's still a lot of concerns with that. There was obviously a discussion that took place, because how does all of a sudden this get approached to NOACA, and that's stated, and then all of a sudden this is something that's basically discussed and put into this motion. So what we've got here is a situation where, you know, and I'm really glad that we have the next generation of people that you could see. Being a good leader is being a good listener. We have had 3 weeks of people that have stepped up, residents that have voted us and entrusted in us to make the right decisions, people that probably have spoken at the microphone, probably have had more experience, knowledge, and have even gone down to those meetings at NOACA that have been engaged as residents than probably the 3 of us commissioners here to understand the functions and the abilities of what NOACA is about. I have been sitting here for the past 3 weeks and have not had one person come in to tell us anything different than what we've heard. But it's just interesting that, you know, this is wrong in so many ways. Like, has this even been approved by our prosecutor's office? Have they reviewed this ratification, and they've approved it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
It's
The resolution, is that what you're referring to? Yeah, I sent the resolution to our
Okay.
APA and she did approve it.
Okay, so, you know, I think that we're on this slippery slope of just, it's about personalities, it's not about the principle. And this is where we've gotten, and I think that, you know, it's unfortunate because what we have basically done right now is we are taking a voice out of that, out of NOACA based on the fact that Walter Claypool pushes back on a lot of things. And I've heard it from many, many of the other commissioners and many of the other representatives down there, that he is many times the only person there that speaks for Geauga in a very conservative and protective manner to try to continue to keep us at the forefront. There's no doubt about it, and I think that the evidence shows for itself that NOACA has taken a totally different direction of what they really should have their priorities for, and instead we are now putting a position that we are just assisting them to continue in their dynamics to be able to just continue to control Geauga more and more and more. And I think that you know, I think that you'll see that this ratification will probably get approved today, and it's an unfortunate situation. And I would just tell you that there's always consequences to, you know, every action has a reaction, and I think the reaction should be at the polls this May and the polls, you know, down the road, because at the end of the day, I work for you. You're the residents of this county. I should have a voice to be able to express my own personal opinion. And sometimes I don't necessarily agree with the opinion of what others have. But if it's strong enough that they ask me to support it, and it's not illegal, immoral, or corrupt, I usually will. And that's the bottom line. So I think that this is a sad day if this gets ratified. And it's just another example of where we're at. And I can tell you this is like, it's super humbling for me to hear over the last 3 weeks in record temperatures that we've had for all 3 of these weeks of this room being filled with people, to come out and find it that important to be able to voice their opinion in their words. And I think that if nothing else, this whole thing here has really, I think this has really woke up a lot of people to pay attention to how important having the right elected officials in these roles are. And I thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
Commissioner Spitarola, can I ask you a question? What changed your position from 2014 and 2018? What changed from your position at those meetings until now?
Nothing has changed. No different than last year. We still had representation of our county engineer, and we should have continued to just allow it for the fact that I am pretty much completely silenced in the sense that I don't have a say. My position basically went to the engineer. And that was determined by the 2 of you. Never was that even asked by you guys to me. We never had a discussion about it. It was just a situation that you guys basically just said, hey, within seconds of you're going to be the one that's going to have a position, Jim Dvorak's going to have a position, and the engineer's going to have a position. Totally diverting me. Let's not try to create this smoke screen, and let's just call it what it is. You guys pretty much had this whole thing planned and pretty much put it to work the other day, last week, when you guys did this, and let's just leave it at that, okay? This too shall pass, and I just think that the people that are out here have seen this. They're their eyes are extremely open to this process, and at the end of the day, you guys have to make decisions. I voted no last week. I'm going to vote no this week, and the ball is in your court.
But Commissioner, your NOACA alternate from 2015 to 2024 was the county engineer. And when we had our organizational meeting workshop on December 27th, 2024, you again chose the county engineer as your alternate. Then one week later, you changed and you put Mr. Claypool as your alternate. So what changed your mind?
Where was it? No, it wasn't. I had said it in public that
No, you
Walter
didn't.
Claypool was going to be my
You
alternate.
didn't. On December 27th, 2024, you had Mr. Claypool, or you had the county engineer as your alternate.
Right,
That's what it,
because Walter Claypool was assigned as an alternate for one of the other commissioners.
no, he wasn't. He wasn't. So I'll tell you what his history is. So he was county commissioner, or he was your alternate in 2013 and 2014, and then he was a member as a commissioner from 2015 to 2018. But he hasn't been a board member or an alternate from 2019 until you made him an alternate in 2025. So your memory is incorrect there.
Okay.
So you had the county engineer, and if you look at the meeting minutes from December 27th, 2024, you said that you were going to make the county engineer your alternate at that point. Then 1 week later, you changed without
Okay.
any prompting from Commissioner Dvorak and I. And so we had to kind of scramble to figure out who's going to give up their alternate so that we could still have the county engineer on the board. Because, you know, the things you said back in, 2014 about the importance of having the engineer on the board. So what happened in that 1 week where you thought the engineer was important to have as your alternate and then you decided to change?
And I think that one of the situations that we did have also is the fact that Commissioner Lennon was very much engaged with NOACA, with very similar like-minded thinking with Commissioner Claypool. And it was not a situation that we did not have two people like you and Commissioner Dvorak that I was very concerned with NOACA not being our Geauga not being represented well with Commissioner Lennon that was there. Because I understood and I felt comfortable with his mindset and thinking with what the positioning was for Geauga. So at that point, I think here's the thing. We're trying to make all of these sounds right now. And the sound is this, is let's go ahead and vote and get this done, because I think what you guys are basically trying to do is put a net to try to catch your fall, and just let's vote and be done with it. And let the chips fall where they do at the election time. Okay? It's just that simple. I'm not sitting here and argue with you and argue with Jim and try to make all these things, and I'm not going to spend hours upon hours upon hours of trying to look for the I got you moment. The reality is this:
Since you've changed your mind, I want to know why you changed your mind. I think the people deserve to know why you changed your mind.
Because you can change your mind too, and you could change your mind today and say this is not good and vote no for it, and we basically go back to the same deal. So
Even
it's
if
just
I
that
was morally
simple.
opposed to it, I would vote yes to it for today because it will save taxpayers money in this frivolous litigation.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to call the question.
Commissioner Spudler.
Nope.
Commissioner Brackey.
I.
Commissioner Ward.
Boo!
This is a business meeting, not protest.
Okay, item number 21, board discussion. I believe, Adrian, you're going to come up and talk about compensation.
Adrian Gorton from the Commissioner's Office. So this is in preparation for supplemental for next week. Traditionally, when the Commissioners take action to increase wages, there is usually two motions, one for the increase and then one to provide additional appropriations to departments within the general fund in order to fund that increase. This last time, typically we've done this either in the spring or we've passed multi-year wage increase motions that people are able to budget for. This was the first time in several years that we actually took action, or first time since I've been with the Commissioners that we took action in December. So when I saw that they had prepared the motion for the supplementals, I asked them to hold off on that until after the beginning of the year, because in December, there's still a lot of moving parts with the financials as far as where the unappropriated balance is going to be, and a lot of different things aren't necessarily set in stone yet. So I asked them to take that off so we could consider it in the February timeframe when I typically do the supplementals. And the reason why it's in February typically is because during a normal budget season, there are things that we would have to remove or delay funding for in order to balance the budget until we know how much cash carryover we have and stuff. So given that that was not in place, I would have to sit down with the commissioners and review those items after the beginning of the year to see what you wanted to approve. And since we did not have that this year, there were no unfunded requests. I probably could have moved that up a little bit, but at the time, I just felt like the middle of February would be an appropriate time frame to do this. There was some miscommunication, or not really miscommunication, but maybe a lack of communication in regards to that occurred. So we are here to make that motion for the supplemental for next week. I did have the opportunity to review departments' budgets to see which ones had budgeted for an increase already. The moral behind this is if departments have already budgeted for an increase in their budgets that you have approved, it doesn't make sense for us to double up on those appropriations. So there are several departments that the current motion will exempt from the motion, because when I reviewed the budgets, I did notice that there were some departments that appeared to at least have budgeted for those. Many I was able to confirm with their personnel sheets, but a couple of the departments don't give me personnel sheets, so I have to assume that the 6 to 7% that they increased their payroll items are covering wage increases. I just can't see them because I don't have the personnel sheets. So, and here are the departments. So the sheriff has a union contract, which is he's obligated by the labor agreement to provide wage increases. So his payroll went up in accordance with that. The clerk of courts, I did see that they did actually budget increases for her people in her budget. The juvenile probate court as well, their budget for payroll actually went down 7%, but they do typically budget their full payroll, and they do not supply me with personnel sheets.
We don't know what they gave their employees as far as.
I could run a report to show that, but there was nothing with their budget submission to show what they are paying their employees. Okay. So, and you're right. When you mentioned before, they basically court order their budget. They could journalize it. I have opted in the past to at least get their revenue, so because the revenue gets certified to the state, we can't change that. Yeah. I'd started to run into issues with Kim Laurie as far as doing her appropriations at the beginning of the year if she didn't budget enough revenue. So she is at least giving me revenue numbers now ahead of time. And she did actually give me some changes to the expenses, but as you saw in the financials this time, there were a bunch of adjustments to bring the appropriations in line with what their 2026 request was. So the coroner also had budgeted increases. I do have a personnel sheet. I was able to see that. The prosecutor's office, they do not supply me with personnel sheets. I can only assume that the increase in their payroll expenses was to fully fund their payroll at the level that they anticipated for 2026. The recorder had also budgeted increase, and the veterans had budgeted increases. So those departments, what is this, like 7 departments, are not included in the motion currently to provide them with an additional 3%.
Can we reach out to the prosecutor's office just to confirm that they did budget the increase? Because it seems
I
like
can do
you were
that.
a little unclear about.
They have had some personnel changes since they started taking over municipal prosecutions. So there was some question in my mind as to whether or not that was for payroll increases or if it was just for an increase in staff.
Yeah, okay. So let's just confirm to make sure that we can make them whole.
Yeah, I can do that. If we could make the motion the way it's written, and then if I do discover that they do need it, we could always modify
Okay,
that
we're
before
voting
financial.
today. I thought we were voting next week. I'm sorry. I
We
misunderstood.
don't, we can do it next week, or we can
No,
do it.
that's fine. We can do it today.
The only-
It
the
was
only
just
thing-
under his discussion, so I
Yeah.
thought we were just discussing.
Sure. The only thing, if we waited until next week to do it, we'd have to do the motion before financials, because the increases will be on financials.
No, let's go ahead and do the motion today. I just misunderstood.
Okay. And if I do discover that they do need the 3%, we can always modify the motion before
okay.
financials next
Very
week.
good.
Any other questions?
So the motion that Mr. Gordon provided was the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve a 3% supplemental increase within the payroll funds of each county office and department within the general fund to cover pay increases excluding the clerk of courts, coroner, probate and juvenile court, prosecutor, recorder, sheriff's office, and veterans, as those departments have provided pay increases within their existing budgeted appropriations. Those departments outside of the general fund will be responsible for processing the necessary supplemental appropriations regarding the increase. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I think in the future, I'd like to get the other offices and our offices, up to speed at the beginning of the year. So that, because are these folks, like, are they waiting for their like cost of living increase? Like, have they not gotten that or?
So they shouldn't be.
Okay.
Typically, I mean, as long as I've been at the commissioner's office, and I'm pretty sure this happened even before I was there, if the commissioners approve a pay increase, they provide the appropriations to cover that increase to departments within the general fund. So unless you have already budgeted those increases. So every department has sufficient appropriations to start the year off and pay the increase that the commissioners approved.
I see. So, but they're aware that they're allowed to do that? I just want to make sure that we're communicating appropriately with these offices.
We have never, since I've been here, neither I nor Christy nor Kathy have reached out to the departments to let them know that increases occurred.
Hey, Commissioner, what we're going to do is, for now on, I think we created a mess, being the administrator myself, by pushing the timeline up from what was standard practice. Pushing that timeline up, we didn't realize that we were splitting the resolutions, and we should have communicated that. So, standard procedure from here on out will be, as soon as that resolution is pushed, Amy or myself will spread the news on that. So it was really specifically my fault that the communication wasn't done.
I mean, I just want to make sure we're doing it.
Yep.
State your name and your job.
Oh, yeah, after all of that,
You're on
Mark.
Mark Jimison, I'm Deputy County Administrator.
Thanks, Mark.
Good job.
All right, appreciate your work, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Mike.
The next item that is on for discussion is the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board member vacancy. And I'm going to add to that as well that, and the upcoming appointments that will need to be considered. Back in October, we had received word from Mental Health that one of the board members that was appointed by the commissioners had resigned from his position and been appointed by the state. And at the time, we did not move forward with an acknowledgement of that resignation or to post for that position. As we are aware, the Board of Commissioners changed the board makeup of the Mental Health Recovery Services Board so that the commissioners appoint 6 positions and the state has 3 seats to that board. So I just need to find out some more discovery from all of you as to how you want to move forward with those positions. We have a current vacancy of a board position that goes through June 30th of 2026. There are also 3 additional members on that board that will also have their term expiring on June 30th of 2026. I spoke with Christine Lakomiak, who is actually here today, yesterday, about the application and changing that application to meet the requirements now required by the commissioner's office side to do those appointments to the board to make sure that you're meeting the necessary requirements that fall now within the board makeup. After going back and forth with her yesterday, she sent me an email this morning, and 2 of the current members the terms that will be expiring the end of June will not be eligible for reappointment by the commissioners. So there's a couple of different versions of the application that she has provided for consideration, and whether you want to look at putting together a press release with some additional language with those requirements to then provide with the application to move forward. I can only expect that you would want those applications to be received here in the office and then coincide with, review, an interview maybe process involving mental health, so that we are ensuring that we are meeting those requirements for that board makeup. So it's more or less discussion for you to kind of get it out there to make sure that you are aware that there is still a board seat that is vacant through June 30th of this year, as well as then those 3 appointments that will also be coming due. So we'll have 4 seats then again of the 6 that will also have to be reappointed.
So the one that will be up in June 2026, they could be reappointed at that time?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So to me, it makes sense to advertise now for that position, that for the one that was open due to the state appointment, because it gives you a chance to test out a board member, see how they're doing, make sure they're doing their work and showing up,
And interview the applicants.
yeah, and positively adding to the board.
I think based on our conversation yesterday, the current position that you're looking for is a consumer that is currently in recovery. So that is the one that is missing right now, so for applications to be received would be specific to a consumer or resident that is currently in recovery. And then that would be.
Could that be a family member too, or it has to be somebody that they themselves?
Currently, the one that we're missing is a consumer.
Okay.
We do have family members on the board.
So those are separate, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. And in recovery from mental health, any sort of mental health issue or addiction
For this
specifically?
one, it is
Addiction,
We're
okay.
looking for-
Got it, all right. So yeah, I think we should put out a press release. We could advertise it on the Facebook page, on LinkedIn, get it to the league, and the other sources of folks that may be interested in a board appointment.
Sounds good.
Do you want to just do the current one now, or then work maybe on updating in the press release to then look towards filling those 4 then that would be required come due for January? Or for
I think
July
that would
1st?
be my suggestion, unless someone else has a different opinion.
Fine.
I don't know if Commissioner Spudler has any.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, we will work up a press release and provide it to you for review, as well as to Ms. Komiak to add any tweaks to it, and then we can go ahead and get that published.
Great, thank you.
Any other items for board discussion? Okay, moving on to item 22 for public comment. Those wishing to make a comment or ask a question on matters of concern, please raise your hand to be called upon. Begin by stating your full name and address, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to comment or ask a question, and you're kindly asked to refrain from disorderly or disruptive conduct. Would anyone like to speak? Yes, please come up to the microphone. I did. I got a new toy back here, so
sorry.
I got tired of my phone timing out on me, so you have to bear with me.
You have to run up to the microphone.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
starts ticking when you leave.
John Chipatello, Russell Township. Last week I asked the question why with a proposed 15 million general fund surplus, only 1.7 million was being possibly refunded to the taxpayers. And Commissioner Brakey, you were kind enough to respond to that, and I thank you for that. However, some of your comments indicated that maybe you had not investigated all the possible ways that money could be put back. And I appreciate what you said, the difference between encumbered and non-encumbered.
Qualified and
Non-qualified, okay.
You're close, though.
So I appreciate that, but I would encourage you to continue to investigate and see if there's any other way that property taxes could be refunded. It's not that I'm against even high property taxes per se. Lord knows I vote for nearly every levy that comes up in Russell Township. What is objectionable is that we've all been hit with a large increase that's primarily due to the property reevaluations. And I know that those rules come from the state. So it's not a problem that you created, yet it is something that perhaps you can help alleviate. And I encourage you to do that because this board knows there's a brewing storm that this issue has created, and that is this property tax referendum. In discussing this with somebody I know who is highly connected in Ohio politics, I asked them, why would they possibly support something that is going to create utter chaos? And his response to me was that they're willing to deal with the chaos if that's the only way we can get local government to rein in their budgets and to not involve us with things that are not essential services. Now, being here 2 weeks now, I've gotten an education on what NOACA is, and it's not a good look, all right? What I see NOACA is a woke organization, and now that I know about it, I want to tell you, most of Geauga Countyans are anti-woke, and so I don't think any of the board members are hearing what was being said here. We don't want to be involved, all right? We don't want to be involved in anything that's not essential services that are helping Geauga County. I'm not going to suggest that what you do or do not do here is going to fend off the coming possible referendum. All right. Thank you for your time. But I hope the next thing is not execute session.
There's a typo.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Move into execute session. I
Go
see
ahead,
it now.
Exactly.
You can
like
go to
that.
the microphone.
I'm
You can go to
surprised
the
I didn't
microphone.
catch that one. I
Yes.
catch all these other typos. I
Oh,
drive
sorry,
Christy
my
nuts with it.
podium's in the way, right here. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I'm like pointing all over.
No problem. I didn't know I raised my hand.
That's okay. It's okay.
Well, let's see here. All righty. So,
There you go.
can
There we
everybody
go.
hear me?
Yes.
My teacher's voice? At any rate, Diane Jones, Auburn Township. Thank you much. Okay.
There you go.
All right. I'm used to winging it without one of these. But my question hopefully is a little bit more objective and not so emotional regarding number 16 and the efforts by Cash Moving Corp. Just want to question the ultimate $27,330. Explain that. Will that be counted toward the final cost of the courthouse? Or just, I need a little bit more clarification on where that 27,300 that total amount fits in and how it is finally classified. Thank you.
Sure, yes, ma'am. And Adrian can catch me if I'm wrong. It's in addition to, and it's basically the cost of moving everything, all the occupants, the tenants that have to move from the old courthouse to the new courthouse.
Right.
That's the price from the moving company to move all their belongings.
Right.
And then today's edition of that additional $1,800. I think it was 1,800, is for some items that were missed at 470 from the two different agencies that were residing in that building. So it's in addition to the price of the courthouse itself.
Okay, but in the end, does it get accounted
for the final cost of the courthouse.
I'd have to look and see what expenses, I'm not sure if moving expenses would be included in the asset value or not. It is all coming out of the same fund, though. The Capital Reserve Fund Phase 2, that contract is being paid for from that account, that fund. So that we're
Okay.
using to build it.
Okay, appreciate that. That was the answer I was looking for, and I should have directed it to you in the first place. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stephan.
Adrian has all the answers. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I have to get like a better system.
Hi, Gail Rusi, League of Women Voters. Just responding to the property tax question, the League of Women Voters is teamed up with the Geauga Public Library to present a series of forums on property tax and what goes into our property tax and stakeholders who receive property tax, how it might be changed. So I urge everyone to attend. We are nonpartisan, as is the library, so this is educational. And there will be 3 sessions. The first one is February 25th. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Christine Stenzel Munson again. Hilltoppers, you have displayed patience. It's amazing. I don't know if this is your first time here to a meeting, but it might be a little more lengthy than the ones in the past have been. One thing I asked in the former, my public comment, a question was, have you looked at Skip's proposal for matching up with Lake County and having our own MPO? I don't know if you can answer that after I speak, because I don't want to cut into my 3 minutes. And also, I don't know if this is true, but what came across when Ralph spoke about the timeline that Carolyn presented of why he went from the engineer to Skip and why it happened so quickly, it seems like it's been fluid because of the voice representation that has changed over time, and maybe that's why I'm not putting words into Ralph's mouth, but it seems like there have been changes. And last but not least, if we weren't talking about NOACA, we would have so much more time on our hands. I could be out shoveling right now. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Russell?
Howard, South Russell Village. They collect $40 million a year in gas taxes for Geauga County. How much of it comes back to Geauga County? NOACA takes the money and spends it anywhere they see fit. Hopefully these young people someday will find out where that money is being spent, because we don't know. Do the commissioners know? Ralph, do you know? Carolyn, do you know? No comment. Jim, do you know?
I have an answer for you.
It's mandatory.
Well, the gas tax is all over the state of Ohio. Northeast Ohio probably has the most traffic in Ohio. There's still roads and bridges that have to be done in southeast, southwest Ohio,
So they
and the
give
state
Geauga
determines.
County money to pay for all the other bridges in other counties.
Northeast Ohio is a giving county through
It's
MPS.
NOACA.
It's the state of Ohio through
It's
ODOT.
NOACA that's doing it.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a written record of any of this? Have you?
No.
No. Carolyn, have you?
Yes, I mean, I have data in front of
Have you
me.
seen a written record of where the money is being spent?
Yes.
Can I get a copy of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's public records. Like if you Google
Where
it
can I get a
on
copy of it?
NOACA's website for one.
The NOACA's website is terrible. One last item. 7 years ago, NOACA came up with a transit report. Geauga, or Chardon Library, the Joneses were there, weren't you Joneses? Yeah. 7 years ago. Where is this report today? The transportation report for the county of Geauga was never published. I've asked for, Jim, have you ever seen a copy of it?
No, not that I recall.
Carolyn?
What is it, a transportation report? I'm sorry.
Transportation report that was published in Chardon Library. It was presented, it's never been published by NOACA. Ralph, have you ever seen
No.
a report? Joneses, have you ever seen a report?
Absolutely not.
When do you think we'll see a report?
Who knows?
The commissioners tell us. You deal with NOACA, we don't. Why don't you bring it up at the NOACA meeting?
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Olich?
Yeah, hi, Steve Olich, Camden Township. Just a couple comments. It's a great day to have the students here. I know some of them, the American Legion of Chardon. We usually actually, I know quite a few of them. We interview them for the Ohio Boys and Girls State, and they go off and have fun. And it warms my heart to see two of them are applying to the military academy, founded in 1804, the Army, U.S. Military Academy. And you know, you're all going to learn in college, and when you go there, not only at the military academy, but you're going to learn about leadership, moral courage, selfless service, strategic planning, and resilience, getting through. You don't see that out here in the political world. This is great you're here today because you saw the sausage being made, and all politics is local and it's very personal. I do have a couple comments about NOACA. You know, we have to be very careful with NOACA. It's taking on a life of its own. I understand. I was an engineer in the Army, coordinating transportation corridors, civilian infrastructure, so on and so forth. That's important across the region. We got to do that. But when you look at NOACA, they're getting into things that was not part of their original mandate. Housing. You know, as years go on, the decisions made here today in the last few weeks could have terrible ramifications in 5 or 10 years. And I remember I was in a meeting down in Auburn about putting a housing development on 44 and Washington, and the people were outraged at how, pretty sure that's going to be taken out of our control. One of their metrics is what they call community. So be careful what you wish for. If you were so adamant on getting an engineer on board, why don't you, Jim, or you, Carolyn, resign instead of forcing a 4-term commissioner who's well beloved in this county? 4 terms he's won, overwhelmingly. And you two did that to him. I think it's insulting. I mean, it's pretty much cowardice. Why didn't we have a public meeting on the NOACA where everyone could attend, the well-meeting attendees here, which I find pretty demeaning, to be honest. Had a public meeting in the evening so more people could come. I had to do several public meetings when I was a director of water resources. And they're tough when you have 100 people yelling at you. But I guess that would be too hard for you. And the last thing I want to say, I apologize, Ralph, for the stuff that you're going through. You've been targeted. You've been outlined. Going back to 2014, here we come with the smug smile again. Going back to 2014 is pretty pathetic. And in my opinion, a good reason why lawyers are not liked and politicians are not liked. I could go back in anyone's record years back and find something to contradict them. Things change. Political organizations and communities change over time. But to go back to 2014 to take a cheap shot is very, thank you much, wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Item number 23, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the employment and compensation of public employees pursuant to ORC 121.22G1.
Second.
Call for vote.
Okay, the audio's on.
Okay, I have you returning at 11:32.
No action.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting is